everyone, and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This would be the third board in Grandmaster Ronghhua's sandwich house defense, and as with my other previous videos in the same section, I've chosen to place black at the bottom of the page. So without further ado, let us continue to see what the Grandmaster introduced. The central cannon, bell corner cannon, the rank chariot. Okay. One of the main motives, ideas behind the rank chariot is to prevent black from playing c6 plus 5. So, and after making this move, usually red will be prepared to attack the central file. So this board in the third board of chapter 7 will be discussing this very important topic, and in my humble opinion, it will be the most important board in this chapter. So black would play a prophylactic move with a4 plus 5. So after playing a4 plus 5, red will continue with p5 plus 1 as in the main variation. But would c4 plus 5 be a good idea? Okay, so as can be seen, the pale corner cannon is still very powerful. It can simply retreat to the third rank and be prepared to attack the red chariot. So the red chariot red would have lost momentum because he had moved the chariot too many times. So black can be satisfied with this situation, and black will be better. That is why p5 plus 1 is usually played as a in continuation of the previous moves. So at this point in time, there are three major variations. The first one would be r8 plus 4, whereby black will try to patrol the riverbank and prevent the red pawn from attacking. The second would be c6 equals to 5, whereby black would counter red's central cannon with a central cannon of his own. So this would become a same directions cannons variation. The third and final variation that was discussed would be p3 plus 1. So as can be seen, there are many variations and sub-variations. So in the first main variation, after black had played the riverbank chariot, red will continue to attack as planned. So at this point in time, c2 plus 4 was advocated. It would not be a good idea to play e3 plus 5, although black would be able to develop his chariot. That is because if e3 plus 5 were played, black's congenital weakness on the board, the left horse, will now be under attack. So red will be better in the ensuing game. So after c2 plus 4, red will continue to attack the pawn. And this is one of the ways that black can try to change his formation. And red would have the significant advantage from here on. This horse will be very powerful. It will be ready to attack with h3 plus h3 plus 4 or h3 plus 2 as needed for the elbow horse attack. So red would have a nice position going to the mid game. So this would be the first variation. So the second variation would be to counter with a central cannon of its own. So if black were to do so, red would also continue with h7 plus 5. Now at this point in time, the Grandmaster advocated h3 plus 4. Now there are two other sub-variations that were discussed. The first would be r8 plus 4. Now this would not be a good idea because red could simply play e7 plus 9 and prepare to play r9 equals to 7 on the next move to get his other chariot into action. So red would be better. p3 plus 1 would also not be a good idea because the horse would now be able to develop. A horse that is positioned at this place is called a tiger-headed horse, or 虎头马 in Chinese. So it is a very powerful, it will be in a very powerful position because you only take 2 moves for the horse to get to the elbow horse position, and it can also trade material as needed. Check. And red would be prepared to play h7 plus 6 to threaten to capture both cannons and also to go for the elbow horse attack. So it would not be a good idea to capture the pawn. So the best move in this case would be to play h3 plus 4, and red will continue to attack with his pawn. Black would trade horses, and at this point in time the better move for black would be r1 equals to 4. It would not be a good idea to play r1 equals to 3 because if black did so, red will protect his now very dangerous threatening pawn with h4 equals to 7. Red will still have the advantage in the ensuing game. So at this point in time, at this point in time, black would have a red would be still slightly better going into the game. So the third and last variation would be p3 plus 1. Now compared with the previous c6 equals to 5 or r8 plus 4, p3 plus 1 would seem that the central file, black central file, was not protected. However, the results of this move were exceedingly good. So this was the variation that was suggested by the Grandmaster. So red will continue as planned. So at this point in time, it would be better for black to play aggressively with h3 plus 4. It would not be a good idea to play e3 plus 5, because if e3 plus 5 were played, black would now be denied the option of playing c6 equals to 5. So red will continue to attack, and once the chariot controlled the pawn rank, red would have a very big advantage going into the mid game. So h3 plus 4 will be the better move, and at this point in time, it would not be a good idea to charge the central pawn forward. Instead, p7 plus 1 is advocated. So if red chose to charge the pawn forward, h4 plus 5 to trade horses, and black could choose to play c6 equals to 5 or even c2 equals to 5, so countering red central cannon with a central cannon of his own. So p7 plus 1 will be advocated. Again, the horses are traded. Now at this point in time, there are 3 major sub-variations that were discussed in the book. The first would be r8 plus 6, the second would be c2 equals to 3, and the last one would be the most complicated of them all, r8 plus 4. So in the first sub-variation, r8 plus 6 was discussed. Red would choose to capture the pawn. Pawn is captured. And as can be seen, red would have moved 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to try to attack red's horse, but red would only have used only one e7 plus 9 followed by r9 equals to 7 to trade away this chariot. So at this point in time, red will have a significant advantage. Hence, at this point in time, r8 plus 6 is not advocated. What about c2 plus 3? Again, the results would not be ideal. Red will choose to trade cannons, and at this point in time, red will have the advantage. So the best move for black in this situation would be r8 plus 4. Now r8 plus 4 would now result in several problems for black, because the red horse would now have trouble getting developed, since the pawns were not traded. So red will usually continue with p5 plus 1. Now it would not be a good idea to capture the pawn at this point in time, because the red chariot will now have commanded the very important intersection on the board, and black can be satisfied with the situation going into the mid game, because the red chariot will still have trouble getting developed. So p5 plus 1 will be advocated, and red will counter with a central cannon of his own and be prepared to develop his right chariot, capturing the pawn. Now instead of p7 equals to 6, what would c8 plus 3 be an option? And this will be an even situation going to the mid game. So a better move would be p7 equals to 6, and red would trade cannons. And at this point in time, red should not play r4 plus 4 to trade chariots, because black could simply counter p7 plus 1 to prevent trading chariots, and red will lose material, because now both his chariot and horse will be under attack. And since red could only play e5 plus 7, black would have an this would be an even situation going into the mid game. So black can be very satisfied with this situation. So a slight review. Okay, when faced with this position, of the three sub variations, r8 plus 6, c2 equals to 3, the best move would be r8 plus 4, and black can have a very nice position going to the mid game. So I hope you have enjoyed this week's short video tutorial. I'm still suffering from a flu, but everything is looking fine now, better now. Thank you, and it will be the Chinese New Year holidays very soon. I'll try to keep up my video uploads. Thank you, and have a nice weekend ahead.